Hey, honey.
Yes, Barry?
Let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Este ritmo de palmas, sin naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I'm your host, Barry Kessler, and I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Alberto is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants here. Those are the Lapa Lapa, Puerto Vallarta's oldest restaurant on the famous Los Muertos Beach, and the El Dorado Restaurant and Beach Club right next door. So you can enjoy that fantastic view of the Los Muertos Pier, all lit up at night in beautiful colors, or during the day in its grand splendor for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand, right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week, we are going to go to Boca de Tomatlan. We're going to visit our guest, Mario Cesar Morga. Super Mario. He's a Panga. He's a Panga captain. He gives private tours from his very cool boat, his Panga, where he will take you and your friends and your family or whatever, fishing and snorkeling and, visiting deserted beaches, hiking some of the villages south of Puerto Vallarta. We're also going to be visiting a place called El Nogalito. We're going to talk to a gal named Trini Penrod. But before we get to Mario and Trini, let's find out what's happening this week, the 25th of May, 2020. All right, well, I hope you're all doing well during the pandemic. I worry about all of you. Especially I worry about our Mexican friends, of course, who are still on a virtual lockdown. However, there seems to be some light at the end of the tunnel. Today, actually, the Malecon opened up after what seemed like forever, but they are opening up for restaurants, for takeout, and dine-in over there on the Malecon. So up till now, the Malecon has been taped off to everyone with that, that yellow tape that you see when the police want to tape off parts of town. But anyway, the restaurants on the Malecon, they've been suffering really badly because they have not been able to have anybody come visit them. So from McDonald's across the street from the Rosita Hotel at the end of the Malecon, all the way to the lighthouse, they're going to open up the Malecon for food service. Now, I spoke with my buddy Salvador Estrada, our friend the Candyman in the wheelchair over there on the Malecon, and asked him if he's going to be able to get out there. And he says, no. He says he's going to have to stay home still. He's still on lockdown. And they actually do have barriers up to dissuade people from strolling around and sitting down. This is just for eating and for takeout. So anyway, he's itching to get back to work, as are so many of our Mexican friends. Masks are still mandatory if you're out in public, except when you're eating, of course, and also if you are over 60. They are asking you to still stay home. So, according to JR, who is now 80, speaking of being over 60, tours are starting up again. The Canape River tour, they say, will begin June 1st. And so as these places open up, just remember JR. When you start looking at tours and you're thinking about coming back and making your plans to return to Puerto Vallarta, don't forget him. Don't forget JR. He needs your help too. Now, as far as me, when I'm planning on returning to Puerto Vallarta, by the way, I don't need your help. I am busier than like a one-armed paper hanger? Is that what they call it? I don't know. Is that bad to say that? I am aiming for August. But it really all depends on the governments. It depends on the United States and Mexico and, what they want me to do when I land, if they need me to quarantine and stuff like that, because I've been really busy. I'm essential now as a realtor in Southern California, and I'm selling lots of houses to people that want to leave for some reason. I don't know. What's the deal with that? August, I should be getting back into town and recording interviews and talking with people on the ground and kind of getting everybody ready to come back and come back to paradise. Now, you may have noticed that my episodes are coming out with a couple more days between each one, sometimes a week between each one, a week longer between each one, I should say. This is just my way of trying to stretch things out until we can make it to August. But I should have enough material. And if I don't, well, I'll let you know. We might have to go on a quick little hiatus. It all depends on what's going on the ground in Puerto Vallarta. But I truly appreciate everybody listening. And I think we need each other these times when, we're just not sure what's going to happen the next day. I hope that things are going better for everybody in everybody's town, and some of these lockdowns are easing up for a lot of people. Actually, in Los Angeles today, they said that they're going to let businesses open up again, which is really a wonderful thing. Now, along those lines, I should say, of the reopening and so forth, I have this report here from Mexico News Daily. Talks about when folks from the United States can expect to return to paradise. Although many properties that I talked about last week, that I had a link to some of these properties that we're going to start opening on June 1st and July 1st. The United States is extending their travel restrictions to Mexico. Here's the article. It says, U.S. border travel restrictions to June 22nd. Partial closures will remain in effect until coronavirus no longer is a danger to public health. Published here on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. The United States has announced that border restrictions between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico will continue for an additional 30 days until June 22nd, a decision made in consultation with Mexico and Canada and based on a public health order. The president has made it clear that we must continue to keep legitimate commercial trade flowing while limiting those seeking to enter our country for non-essential purposes, Acting Homeland Security Director Chad Wolf said Tuesday. Non-essential travel will not be permitted until this administration is convinced that doing so is safe and secure. The overland border was first closed to essential travel on March 21st, and when it reopens, it'll depend on an assessment from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC. The order shall remain in effect until I determine that the danger of further introduction of COVID-19 into the United States has ceased to be a serious danger to public health, CDC Director Robert Redfield wrote in a statement on Tuesday. The closure mainly affects vehicular travel and residents of the border region. Citizens and permanent residents of the United States do not face restrictions, nor do those with temporary work visas, emergency personnel, students, government officials, and those involved in cross-border trade. Both Mexico and the United States are working on joint sanitary measures for the border region. Mexican tourists with visas may travel to the United States by air. The announcement comes as most states in the U.S. are beginning to reopen, and I have that article in the show notes. Got a link right there. And hallelujah! Here, let's read here. You can get booze again in Nueva Vallarta. There's an article here in Mexico News Daily Online. The ban on alcohol sales lifted in Sinaloa, Nayarit, and parts of Veracruz. It also goes on to say the law had little effect in Nayarit due to black market allowed by, quote, second-rate public servants, end quote. The article published Tuesday, May 19th, 2020, goes on to say authorities in Nayarit, Sinaloa, and some southern Veracruz municipalities have ended the dry laws that halted alcohol sales and led to the proliferation of bootleg liquor that caused over 100 hospitalizations and deaths across the country. Nayarit Governor Antonio Echeverria Garcia announced the end of restrictions on alcohol sales in his state on Monday, probably because his hospitals were full of people. The consumption of alcohol remained practically unaltered, fostered by a broad black market allowed by bad second-rate public servants all over the state who are corrupted by criminal groups, he said in a speech posted on social media. Beer products stopped brewing after the declaration of beer production as a non-essential activity at the beginning of the quarantine period, an announcement that triggered panic buying in some states. Some, such as Nayarit and Yucatan, said the move to restrict sales in addition to halting production was made in hopes of reducing domestic violence during the emergency period. Echeverria said that the trafficking of bootleg alcoholic beverages in Nayarit reached absurd levels, and he hoped that reactivating legal sales would put an end to this contraband and source of organized crime. In other words, he needs to make some tax money, and there's lots of alcoholics in Nayarit. This article, it kind of skipped that thing over. I guess we'll keep on going. Sinaloa Governor Guillermo Ordaz Copel announced the lifting of dry laws on Tuesday, but added a caveat saying that if citizens don't continue to obey the stay-at-home orders, his administration will take tougher measures to mitigate the spread of coronavirus. What everybody's going to do, like cut off cigarettes? What's the deal? Anyway, I believe in all of you to be responsible and to continue to take care of yourselves at home. Behave yourselves, please, he said in a tweet. It goes on to say that dry laws also came to an end in a number of southern Veracruz municipalities, which had halted liquor sales the first week of May, just before Mother's Day. One unfortunate result of restrictions on alcohol sales has been the proliferation of tainted bootleg beverages, as mentioned by Echeverria, but by no means has the problem been limited to Nayarit. As many as 150 people have died across the country during the quarantine period due to the ingestion of toxic chemicals found in unregulated black market booze. So that's more people that have died of COVID in the state of Nayarit. The state with the most deaths is Puebla, which has seen 70 die from adulterated alcohol, 11 more hospitalized and in serious condition. The State Attorney General's office said Sunday that it's investigating the deaths in hope of finding those responsible for producing and selling the contraband. The state with the second highest number of deaths from adulterated alcohol is Jalisco, where 42 people have died, followed by Morelos with 29 deaths. At least 7 have died in Yucatan and 5 in Veracruz. And isn't that lovely? I have a link to that article in the show notes. Haven't people realized now that you can't keep people from drinking booze? What's wrong with these folks? Come on! All right, the other night I called Jimmy Pluff, our friend Jimmy over at Vallarta Food Bank. I wanted to get an update on the progress and the lowdown and the goings-on over there. And I recorded the conversation, but he and Frankie moved to Bucerias, and then not the food bank. They're still where they were before. They're in the same place, but they needed to move to a quieter location, and so they moved up north a little bit over to Bucerias. It's quieter there, but the connection we had was crap. It was crapola. The sound was really bad. So what I thought I would do is I would read a note that Jimmy wrote the other day for his Facebook post over at Vallarta Food Bank, and it's Jim's Weekly Thoughts, and it goes like this. It's been an incredible week for us at Vallarta Food Bank. We delivered a grand total of 2,750 dispenses this week, as well as made contributions of goods to 4 local soup kitchens. Folks, it takes a huge team of wonderful people to make all that we do possible. Donors, volunteers, other organizations, and more. Please take a moment, if you know of one of these folks, to tell them how grateful we are to everyone. We're constantly growing. The needs never slow down. Next week, we will be feeding 3,100 families, approximately 12,400 people. It's mind-blowing. I'm overwhelmed every time I remember it has only been 10 weeks since we shut down our restaurant and started this with 6 dispenses. We are moving so fast, sometimes it's easy to lose perspective. I got to go out to Desembocara and El Canton with the awesome owner of Cacao Mágico, Dean Rager. He's been in our corner for a long time, and we couldn't be more grateful. He took us out with him to distribute our dispenses to some lesser-known areas. The poverty that surrounds Paradise is overwhelming. So many people come here year after year and never see this side of Mexico. Also with us to lend a hand was Ernesto Paulson from Ocean Live Love Grill. Hey, we know Ernesto. What a warm-hearted human. We didn't get to speak much, but I could see the emotion rise in his eyes as we stopped by place after place where the theme was constant. People that have always known struggle, yet remain optimistic and happy with the small things. Their spirit is nourishment to the soul. Talking to people and meeting people in these areas really reminds us of how blessed our lives really are and how much we take for granted. Things are supposedly going to begin reopening. It's a hotly controversial subject these days. As things change in Vallarta, we will remain at Vallarta Food Bank, doing what we need to do and preparing for whatever comes next. Regardless if things return to normal or not, we will be here as a promise of hope to the vulnerable population of Vallarta. We will continue working hard and stocking our shelves. Where we do it may change, but how we do it will not. We will continue to be transparent and aware that we cannot do what we do without the support of many generous donors and volunteers working hard behind the scenes. We remain mission-focused. No one goes hungry. Thanks to all the people and the businesses that have made this possible, we remain Vallarta strong. We're looking to start putting together some new and exciting things this week, so stay tuned. As always, if you want to know more about what we do and how we do it, please visit www.vallartafoodbank.com. And then to donate, he's got all kinds of ways. There's a monthly membership. There are ways to go through PayPal. There is Casa Jojo Foundation. There is the GoFundMe. There's all kinds of ways. I have links to all of those in the show notes, you guys. So anyway, make sure that you give and maybe think about setting up one of those monthly payment plans. Keep them going well into the future. And, they're going to need our help, looks like, for some time to come. And way to go, you guys. You guys are amazing. Jimmy and Frankie and Francie and Dean and oh my God, and Ernesto, everybody, all those folks over there, you are great. Hats off to you. Now, this next article is kind of bad news for our guest that's coming up second in this episode. It reads, Pangas will be fined for transporting passengers. Okay. This is from JSP News, Puerto Vallarta Online, May 23rd, 2020. In Jalisco, fines of up to 60,000 pesos for pangas if they take a tourist. So 60,000 pesos, that's about $300 US. That's a lot of money. This is an article by Juan Saldiana. Some boat owners to offer water transport services from Boca de Tomatlan, Jalisco, to other nearby beaches were informed this week that they are not allowed to make trips as marine taxis. The decision is going to be enforced with a fine, and that would be due to the quarantine by COVID-19. Only 2 people are authorized to be in one boat. Wow. The Secretary of the Navy maintains a strict vigilance, it says, and if any boat violates the restriction of passengers that it carries in tourist activities, the owners will be fined up to 60,000 pesos. They can also take your boat, it says. So it was reported that in Boca de Tomatlan, only two people are allowed to go out, despite the fact that boats with more passengers have been seen on board. And, that's bad news if you are in the tourist business. Now, hopefully that will change, and we'll talk a little bit about that a little later. Now, let's get on with our first interview. This first interview was from a lady who was introduced to me by a buddy of ours, a friend of the show, Barbara Ann Renee. We've had Barbara Ann on. She's from Santa Barbara. Barbara from Santa Barbara, I remember her, and she came and moved to Paradise, and we talked about that. And anyway, she right now is actually knee-deep in her own Cinco de Diciembre food bank. They're feeding people over in Cinco. That's going to be another story for another day. But anyway, Barbara Ann said that I needed to talk to her friend Trini Penrod, who helps out at a small village on the road heading south of Puerto Vallarta called El Nogalito. Now, I've been to El Nogalito before. I went there a couple times. Once I was there one night with Nacho. Remember Anastasio? Yeah, our friend Anastasio. He's one of the artists on the Malecon. Anyway, we went for a crazy, drunken ride barbecue thing over in El Nogalito. It was dark, but I had a chance to see some of the town. That's a long story. Maybe one day, if I can remember it, I'll tell you a little bit about that story. It was pretty nutty. But anyway, Trini is a really cool lady. And Trini fell in love with Puerto Vallarta just like all of us do. And she moved there. And her story about moving there is a little interesting. We'll hear about that. Anyway, but she is here. When she's here, she volunteers. And she part of her time she spends volunteering, helping the less fortunate in Puerto Vallarta and in this little town of El Nogalito. So let's go right now. Let's go to, we were over at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse when I recorded this interview. And so let's go right now. Let's go to the top floor over the rooftop over at Kelly's Por Favor. Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse. And let's meet this nice lady, Trini Penrod, and hear about El Nogalito. Trini, thanks for coming on the show with me today.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was your path that led you here to Puerto Vallarta?
The first time I came was in 1963, and my husband had won a trip through his job, so we came to Puerto Vallarta, and then I said that I was going to retire here when I retired, and he said, "What if I don't want to go?" And I said, "Don't. I'm here. He's not." And that's how it kind of happened.
When did you come here to stay full-time?
Full-time was about in 2013.
Uh-huh.
So I've been here I think it'll be 7 years in December, because I arrived in December.
Okay. You were here in 64, you said?
63.
63.
See.
So what was it like in 63?
There was one flashing light in Puerto Vallarta. I never saw anybody stop at it. But and there were several boroughs in town. You know, that was their transportation. I don't remember seeing hardly any buses. There were taxis.
Yeah.
And from the airport to Puerto Vallarta downtown, we stayed at the what's the name? The Rosita. Oh. And it was about 12, 13, 14 years old, something like
Really?
that.
Wow.
Because I think they opened in 49 or something.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So you came back in 2013. Now you obviously came back
I came
many
back
times.
probably 10 or 12 times.
Okay, yeah,
But
so
every time it validated that I was going to come back here.
Right.
And stay.
And stay. All right.
See.
All right. And the Green Acres thing didn't work with your husband.
No. He's not interested in. He thinks that people are talking about him if they're talking in Spanish or in any other language. And I told him that they only talked about important things.
That's pretty.
So
good.
I didn't know that. But I've always been sarcastic, and he was not a happy camper. He loved it when we were dating, but things change.
Right, of course, of course. All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about what you do here. A lot of people retire. They come here and they smoke and they drink and they eat, and 24 hours a day. That's what's going on. You don't do that.
Well, I go to Nogalitto 2 days a week from 4:30 to 5:30. It's going to be changing, but that's what I've been doing for about 3 years now, maybe 2.5. And when you drive into town, it looks like it's a decent little town, but actually the families that live there, those are all mostly Canadians. 99% of them are on that main road. And then the Mexicans are down below. You can kind of see them when you go along the roads. You can kind of look down and see them.
Where is Nogalitto?
It's, where the gas station is going out of town.
South.
It's probably about 6 more miles, maybe 7. Then you make a left and go up in the hills about 1.5 miles.
Okay. And so what do you do in Nogalitto?
Well, I was teaching when I was younger, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something that was fun. So I did arts and crafts, which we made things out. We recycled 99%. A lot of vodka bottles because they're beautiful. They're nice and blue and tall. And so I have a couple bars in town saving them for me. And they come out the kids do very well with them. I usually take something that I've made and then I show it to them, and then they can go from there. They can make their own thing. But on English, it's Monday and Wednesday, and on art is Tuesday and Thursday. And then they play bingo on Friday with another a lady that's out there.
Yeah. So you are there how many hours?
Well, it's 2 hours from my house back to my house. So I'm there for about an hour and 15, 20 minutes.
So you are at a school, right? There's a school.
It's called a center. It used to be a kindergarten building, but now they have you have to have 6 children in kindergarten to be able to, for the state, or I'm not sure, the country, to provide them with a teacher. And this year there's only 12 kids 1st through 6th grade. So obviously there is not 6 kindergartners.
Right.
So that's what we're using the building. We went in and put a door on it, put shelving in it, fixed the roof so people couldn't climb in and take things, and So now we've, and then I've asked for several families to, if they're coming down, to please see us. We've got a website. John Lennon has offered as his donation to keep up our website and to keep it going so people could look at it and see where we're from and how you can donate, or you can just bring things, or if you have no more children, you can send them down with Grandma and Grandpa, and we'll take all their old clothes, which they love, American clothes.
Yeah.
They love them.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's very cool. Oh, I have something for you before you go.
Oh, good.
All right, so What is that website?
It is El Nogalito Puerto Vallarta at gmail.com.
Okay, and I'll have that. You don't have to write that down, kids. I'll have that in the show notes for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. So don't worry, it'll be there. What are the things other than clothes that they need over there at El Nogalito?
There was a family, and several of them don't have refrigerators. So I put a note out for a refrigerator, and I got 3 of them within a week. So then now we needed transportation to get them out there. And then once we got them out there, the grandmother lived 3 stories up. So then it stayed down. The refrigerator to stay downstairs for, for probably 3 weeks because nobody could get it up,
Yeah.
So
You finally got it up the stairs, did you?
Yes. She's had it now for 3 months.
Okay, good. So. All right, so...
And most of them cook on outside.
Yeah.
And most of them don't have doors on their buildings. Some of them don't have even walls. They're made with cardboard and plastic and bamboo and anything they can get their hands on.
Wow. So this is really super duper poor.
I talked to Felipe, which is a Mexican friend of mine, and he said they're poor, but he says, trust me, they're not that poor.
They're not super duper poor.
So unfortunately, there's even people that are worse off.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, so how did you find these people? Was this something that was a program that has been going on for years, or is it something that you...
I talked to this lady, and she lives in El Nogalito. So then she's telling me about it, and then I said, well, I'll come out and see. And the first 2 years, I didn't... it was difficult because I didn't have a car, and it's a mile and a half in. Well, walking in, you can live with it. Walking out at 6 o'clock in August... I just said, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
So then I bought a little car, and it goes forwards and backwards and has air conditioning and windshield wipers that mostly go when they're in the mood. Like on the way down here, they probably went 8 times.
Really?
In little sporadic little spots.
Yeah, that's very funny.
But it goes forwards and backwards.
Yeah, and that's what you need.
That's all I need
to get up into town.
Right, and that's where I go mostly is Nogalito.
Okay, all right. Any stories that you can tell us about the people in Nogalito?
Well, there's this one family. She has 4 children. She's 24. Her oldest is about 7. Her youngest is 2. She's one of the better off families. We're actually tomorrow we're taking her son into my dermatologist because he has some kind of major bump on his head that is not going away or getting better.
Wow. That
and
sounds
they
serious.
just don't have the means to take care of anything. And when you live in poverty like that, you don't wind up, you're not that clean. I mean, actually, those shacks are clean, but they're not clean.
Right. Yeah, they're not sanitized.
See, yeah. And most of the restrooms are outside.
Right.
They'll have maybe 4 refrigerators in all of town, except for the families that are on the main road.
Yeah.
That are not Mexican.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do any of the local Canadians there, are they involved at all? No, not really?
Not really. We've asked for donations, and I think we got like 20 pesos one time.
Oh, my.
Yeah, they're not into offering their help or their services or so far. And I've only been there 3 years, so maybe it's going to change.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
There's like 8 of us, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. How would somebody get involved in helping?
You go on the website and you just say that I will be here From January 20th to February 15th, I'm bringing my grandson. He's 9. Is there anything we can do to help? Is there anything you need us to bring? And we accept anything and everything from the States. They absolutely love soccer items. It can be as old as the hills. Soccer items are a big thing. And then, and they can come out. They can help 1 time, 4 times, whatever they want. We just had the slide fixed about 2 weeks ago, and it was sad because the kids had been cutting their legs on it for, the 3 years that I've been there.
Yeah.
And we just got it fixed 3 weeks ago, and now they can slide down it without getting cut.
Yeah. Wow, what a bonus.
Yes.
You could have fun and not be injured. Yay!
Right.
Yeah, wow. Okay, well, that's good. And before we wrap it up, we'll talk again about how to contact you. Let's leave El Nogolito just for a minute, because you've been here for almost 7 years. Lucky 7's coming up. Tell us a little bit. Now, you live in Cinco de Diciembre, right? You live in that area?
I do, yes.
All right, so let's go over to that area. Let's talk about your favorite places to eat. Let's talk about breakfast, lunch, and dinner over in Cinco de Diciembre.
Layla's is to die for.
Okay, now that's dinner, yes?
Yes, dinner.
Okay.
It doesn't have a view, but the food and the service is top of the line. If you ate that same food in Old Town, it would cost you close to twice as much.
Yeah.
And everything is very, very nice.
What do you get when you go there?
Sometimes I even stop by, and they have a seafood soup. And it's only 100 pesos, my God, and it is to die for.
Yeah.
And I will get it to go, and then I'll take it home and put it on pasta.
Ah, trick. That's a very good local trick, everybody.
Yeah, but the food is excellent at Layla's.
Excellent. All right, good. What about for lunch?
El Patio, which is on San Salvador. There's a new burrito place called California Burrito. And the burritos are very, very good. They just opened about a week and a half ago.
Oh, cool.
And I think it's on Honduras.
Okay.
It's on Honduras.
On Honduras. Okay,
Yeah.
So that's lunch.
It's about a block from the gas station.
Actually, El Patio is lunch and breakfast, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How about dinner? Oh, we talked about dinner. Breakfast. Other than El Patio. Anything you can think of?
I don't go out for breakfast.
I know. You are like half of my guests. They all go, what is breakfast? What are you talking about?
It's usually a cup of coffee about 9:30.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's all right. To each his own.
This
or
morning
her
it was
own.
a banana at 9:30.
Oh, is it? Okay. There you go. All right. If you were going to leave town for a day and not go to El Nogolito and then come back, where would you go?
I've been to San Juan. I was there about 2 weeks ago. Not even, maybe a week ago. I don't know. And it's a quaint little town. It's 45, 50 minutes from here.
Yeah.
You go out towards Bucerias. You make a right and go about 40 minutes. And it's small. It's little. The people are so friendly. But everywhere I go, they're really, really friendly.
Yeah. So up in San Juan.
Up in San Juan, yes.
Okay. All right. How about for 3 days? If you were going to cut out of town for 3 days, where would you go?
Well, I liked Ajijic. Is that how you say? Ajijic. But I wouldn't want to live there. But it was fun to go to.
Uh-huh. All right. So
Chapala
area.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
It was fun to go to, but I think it's a little slow. I need a little more.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need some fast pace. You need
a little bit, yes.
Yeah. What kind of advice would you give to a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta?
Come with extra bathing suits and less clothes. And come with a carry-on. But if you have a carry-on and a backpack, that is way plenty for 15, 20 days.
Yeah, that's
way
right.
Plenty.
Just got to learn where the lavanderias are, and you're
Right.
set.
Yeah, and it's only 50 pesos to get a week's of laundry washed.
Yeah, yeah. It's
So
so
it-
cheap, you guys. And when you get it back, it's folded, and
Yep.
you know, you don't have to do that. You just put it in the drawers.
It wouldn't hurt if you counted your items.
Good tip.
Because I've never lost anything, but I know several people that have.
Right.
So if you have 10 items, you don't want to come home with 9.
Right. So
Because
count.
the cutest thing is going to be the one that's missing.
Another pro tip right here from
So-
Trini. All right. So how about a word of warning to somebody who's coming to Puerto Vallarta? A word of warning to somebody who's coming to Puerto Vallarta.
Well, it only makes sense to be careful, but I went to Plaza Caracol, which is a shopping center, and I bought a flashlight that I carry, and it has a laser on it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just carry it in my hand if I'm walking 5 or 6 blocks home and it's dark.
Good.
But I've never been frightened. I've never been approached. I've never, of course, I've turned a little click-clack laser thing on a couple times, kind of gave him a clue that, I'm old, but I might be able to get in a couple licks before you get in all of yours.
Very good. Good for you.
So, but I don't really feel frightened or, uneasy or anything
Yeah.
at all. And I'm 3 years from 80, so I get home at midnight, maybe only once a month.
Yeah. But still, I mean,
But
what you're
still,
saying
right.
is it's safe. Just be careful.
Right.
What kind of advice would you give to somebody who is moving here?
Well, the way I did it is I knew I was moving here, and I came with 7 weeks at timeshares, 5,000 American dollars, and 3 suitcases. And I knew I wasn't going back. I didn't speak the language. I didn't know the bus system. I didn't know the pesos. I didn't know the bank. I didn't have a phone. But I just knew I was never going back, and I didn't.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
How are you weathering the summers here?
well, the heat doesn't bother me like it bothers a lot of people. So it's hot, but it's not unbearable. But some people think it is.
Yeah.
And they look like they're
look
telling the
like
truth.
Oh my God, you're about ready
And they
to
look
die.
miserable, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell them. And that's what I tell people when they're, when they want to check out the weather, they want to check out what it's like that day, is go to the Cuates y Cuetes webcam, and you watch these people walk down the sidewalk. And you'll see them fanning themselves, and you'll see them sweating, and you'll see the sweat on their shirts. If it's hot, you'll know it's hot. And so that's always a good gauge to see what's going on in Puerto Vallarta.
In the summer, there's about 7 restaurants that about 8 of us go to. And we all know the air-conditioned restaurants in the summer.
Yes, you do. It's like, why did you take me here?
That's
There's just
right.
a fan. Oh.
That's right. Or you can go to the movies. They even offer you blankets at the movies.
Really?
Oh, and the first hour, you are so happy to be in there. But it's 65 degrees over at Isla.
Uh-huh.
So that is cold after an hour. And you can ask for a blanket.
Oh, wow.
On
Okay.
your way in,
All right,
yeah.
so you know how to chill down. And how much does it cost to get into the movie, do you know?
If you go on a Wednesday, it's a little bit less. If you're a senior, it's a little bit less. If you go, I pay for the high-end movie at La Isla, which is the fanciest shopping center in town. I pay $4.50
Okay.
American.
Yeah. All right, well, that's a deal. Especially if you're going to get cooled down.
Oh, yeah.
If you're having a bad day. Go to the movies.
Well, we go to the movies in the summer. We don't pretty much go to the movies in the winter unless there's some...
Why would you?
That's right.
Yeah, it's so pretty out here. You got the movie right there. It's all right there.
Right.
Yeah. You've been here a long time, which means that you probably are a resident by now?
Actually, I will be a permanent resident in August. Because it takes you a while to... You get your temporary and then you get your permanent. And you can go for your permanent residency, but then you have to show a lot more paperwork, and it's just easier if you go the 4 years on your temporary, and then it automatically pops in as long as you fill out the paperwork.
Good. All right.
After 4 years.
Wow. All right. So you'll be a dual citizen pretty soon.
I will.
How?
Not a citizen.
No.
Resident.
Resident. Dual.
Yeah, right.
Resident. That's
right.
what I mean. Yeah, because you have to go way further, like, learning Spanish and,
yes,
taking the oath and all that other good stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
For the citizenship, yes.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, let's go right back. Let's get right back to El Nogalito. Once again, tell us how they can find your website.
You can even go on Facebook and just go under El Nogalito Puerto Vallarta, and it'll pop up and it'll tell you about our website.
Okay, very good. Yeah,
and that's probably your easiest way. El Nogalito.
Go to the Facebook. El Nogalito Puerto Vallarta.
Right. And there'll be more of us working in the fall. So our website is going to be bigger. Our pictures will be better. Because, the first 3 or 4 years, it takes you a while to catch up and know what you're doing and so on.
Right. Get it all organized, right?
Right.
So that you have something, of value to show somebody.
Right.
That's really important.
But it's getting better and better.
Yeah.
And anybody can volunteer. You can volunteer for a day, an hour. I can pick you up at the gas station, which is the only gas station in Old Town. And that's on Highway 200. So, and then we're another 7 miles out, I guess.
Yeah, it's close by.
Right.
It's an easy drive.
It is.
In her car that goes one way forwards and one way backwards.
Pretty much. It's like a sewing machine that was built in the 30s or something.
Yeah.
It goes frontwards and backwards.
All right. So you get the rustic ride. You get the whole thing.
Right.
It's fantastic.
When you go in, right when you turn to go in, that's where a lot of the families live. And then another mile in is where we have the center. And I have taken as many as 12, 13 kids. They'll sit on my roof. They'll sit on my hood. They'll open up the trunk. They've got the doors open. True, I only travel 3 or 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But they think they're having a hell of a good time, yeah.
Of course they are. They're with you, Trini.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Sure.
Thanks for what you do for Puerto Vallarta. And thanks for letting me introduce you and El Nogalito to my listeners. I really appreciate that.
Yes, and we will accept anything and everything.
All right. Remember that. And, let me know if you have any things coming up. If you have anything going on, let me know in advance. I'll let the listeners know, too.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect. I would enjoy that. Yes.
All right. Thanks again. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you so much. Bye.
All right. That was great. Thank you, Trini. All right. Now, what about that story about she came down without her husband? How many of you out there, you want to send me your mail? Want to tell me your story about that? Man, all right, here we go. All right, so anyway, our next interview is with a Panga captain. By the way, I have all of the information that Trini gave us. I have that Facebook page link that will take you right over to all the information that you need to, go and help out over at this little place south of Vallarta, this little El Nogalito. Check out the pictures over on the Facebook page. You'll get a good idea what goes on down there. So, anyway, our next interview is with a Panga captain. His name is Mario Cesar Morga. El Morgan is his nickname. And Mario was introduced to me by a couple people. Bob Price over at the Botanical Garden said, I got to talk to Mario. And Jimmy Pluff over at Vallarta Food Bank. Also told me that, well, Mario is one heck of a guy. Now, back in October, after Hurricane Narda, when Jimmy and his crew, and I was down there too, but when they were shuttling supplies of food and building materials, our guest here, Mario, was there with his boat to help out. And he was a great liaison. At least this is what Jimmy told me. He was a great liaison. He was very well respected all around. So he's got this cool Panga with a picture of Mario, Super Mario on the logo there on the front, and his Panga has a nice shade top on it, which you're going to need when you're out on the water. But I'm going to let Mario tell you all about what he does. And so let's go. Let's go right now to Boca de Tomatlan, south of Puerto Vallarta, and let's meet Mario Cesar Morga, Super Mario, in Boca de Tomatlan, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. All right, I'm with Mario in Boca de Tomatlan. Mario you're a Panga guy, aren't you?
Yes, I have my own boat. I do tours on the bay. That's what I'm doing right now. And I'm a tour guide too.
You are? Okay, so if somebody wants to find you, they just come down here and they say, I want to find Mario. I want Mario.
Yes, you can find me Mario's. Usually my boat, they have a Mario Brothers on the front. I have a paint on my boat. But I have a Facebook page too. It's Mario's Tours. And Boca de Tomatlan.
So if somebody wants to plan ahead of time and say, I want to go to Yelapa and I want a private tour, or tell me about your private tours. What do you do?
That's what I do, usually. I'm not a water taxi, because we have water taxi and we have private boats. The water taxi, the difference is it's cheap, but they have a schedule, and they go with a bunch of people. You choose your place and they go direct. They don't stop in some places. You need to tell them where you're going, and they drop us off in the place that you want. What I'm doing, the private service, is your own boat, your own schedule, no hurries. We do tour by your time. If you wanna done early, you just let us, and we stop the tour. Or if we keep going, it's around 8 hours, the tour, more or less, to see Yelapa. And Yelapa, Animas, Qumixto, the waterfall. With 8 hours is a good time to know a lot of places. The half of the bay. We can know the half of the bay. Yeah, and the south area of Puerto Vallarta.
Now these tours, you basically kind of say, hey, this is Qumixto, you want to go there? Or do you actually stop at all these places?
No, I don't stop. I'm asked if they want to see, if they want to know the place. I ask first, because some people don't want to walk. They're lazy sometimes. They say, no, I want to stay in the boat. So I take them for snorkeling and sample. Or we stop in some places, like a Virgin Islands, because it's no houses, no services, nothing. Only a nice, clear water beach. Only we have shade for the trees, because no palapas, no nothing. They're virgin. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a nice places.
Wow. What do you charge for that?
A tempo for the day, for 8 hours, maximo, 6 people, is $200 for the day. I include on the boat water, cold water, and a cooler with ice, and a couple beers. That's what I included on the price.
Excellent. All right. Hey, that's a great deal for 6 people. You could split that up, and it's cheap. It's cheap for those guys. What's your favorite place in Yelapa for food?
Well, we have different options, but my better place on the beach area is Fanny's Restaurant. It's a really nice, cool place. The waiters, they're very, very nice service. The prices, they're very good, and the food is delicious. And we have another place in Yelapa too, Pollo Bollo. They're pretty good chicken. roast beef chicken and barbecue something ribs. They offer nice chicken over there and the town area in Yelapa.
Okay, so you have to get off the beach for that one, right?
Yeah, you need to go up on the downtown. Well, because Yelapa is two places. One place is the tourist place where it's all the restaurant on the beach, and then the place we call it the town because that's where the people live in there. That is a little town over there.
And that's where you'll find that restaurant in that town?
Yes, a Pollo Bollo. I recommend, very good.
I love the name.
Yeah, it's very nice name too. But
real catchy.
Yeah, I try many times the chicken, and I always wanna try again. That's delicious.
They do okay with all the rain and the with the river. Are they still around?
Usually they have a bad time a couple weeks ago, but now they're working on it, and they're ready. They're ready to attend people because they have a lot of damage, but all the cities, the people who live in the town, they was together and they're working so hard. So now they're ready to receive people.
Okay, so don't forget those guys in Yelapa. They need your money. They need they need you to go there and spend your tourist dollars. So don't be afraid. I talked with Bob, and Bob Price tells me that they got a brand new beach that happened with all of the sand that washed down from the river. So, go check it out. Rediscover Yelapa, okay? How about Qumixto? If you're going to go to Qumixto, do they have good food there?
Usually it was only one restaurant in Qumixto by the beach area, but it's gone. The river was too big, so destroyed all the restaurants. Just one restaurant was, but now they're open another one, but it's only they're gonna start again, but with another restaurant. I never tried before, but maybe it's gonna be good. But it's another restaurant in Qumixto.
Well, for sure it'll be new.
Oh, yeah.
But they gotta, if you're gonna be rebuilding there, they gotta get a lot of material in there, and the only way they get that in is by boat, right?
Yeah, they carry everything by boat, supplies, everything to build a house is by boat. It's very, very hard for people to live there.
Let's talk about Las Animas. You got a favorite restaurant in Las Animas?
Yeah, in Las Animas is a nice restaurant. We call them Los Conos. Their specialty on that restaurant is we call them pescado zarandeado. It's like a zarandeado fish. It's like a whole fish. They cut it like a butterfly, and they put in a special dressing like spicy, and they cook on the charcoal really slow, and it's amazing flavor. And it's coming with rice, beans, and handmade tortillas. So everything is really good in that restaurant.
And it's very Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, that's Los Conos.
That's Los Conos and Playa Las Animas, the beach Las Animas.
Are there any other beaches that have restaurants that are on the bay like that?
Not really, because in Majahuitas, now it's a company, we call it Vallarta Adventure, but they don't offer any restaurant services. Only Yelapa, Qumixto was a restaurant, but now they start with another one, and Las Animas. And Boca de Tomatlan, of course. And Boca de Tomatlan, we have different restaurants, too.
Yeah, I'm not going to make you choose a favorite because you work here.
Yeah.
People are going to go, wait a minute, Mario.
Yeah, you need to choose your place. You can try different ones. They're good.
They're all good.
Yeah.
Let's go out of Boca just for a minute. Let's go back to Puerto Vallarta because you go there. You go there a lot. You have a favorite restaurant over there? Breakfast restaurant there?
Well, I have different ones. I find a new place right now, like a month ago. It's beautiful. We call it the Factory of the Waffle. So they offer hot cakes, waffles, chilaquiles, ham and cheese, bacon. They're really good food and good prices. It's only for breakfast in Puerto Vallarta. It's near Costco in Puerto Vallarta.
Ah, good. All right. Very good. That's a great tip. How about a lunch place? You got a favorite lunch place in Vallarta?
Well, I know different ones, but usually I'm going with the locals. The locals lunches, it costs only $3 a meal. It's included with water, fresh water of the day, and they give you a soup, and then the main dish is very good. We call it confetti. It's by the Boulevard Francisco Medina Asensio. Back there to the bank HSBC. Back there, one block back there, the HSBC. Confetti. Everybody knows confetti, I think so. It's a very famous place.
All right. Take note. I'm going to have that in the show notes, you guys. So, if you're driving and you're listening, don't worry. It'll be there. How about a dinner place?
Well, for dinner place, we have different ones also, too. And I can say, example, La Madalena is a good place. It's a little expensive. Maybe a nice meal costs $30, but it's very authentic Mexican meals, Mexican food, La Madalena. And we have example or local food. We call them pozole. It's like a corn soup. Or we call it antojitos mexicanos, Mexican food. We have tostadas, the beef or the pork. We have tamales. We have chocolate, atole. It's the different places near Boardwalk. You can find the places with the sign pozole or Mexican food. It's by the main road. I don't remember right now the name of the street, but it's the main road near Boardwalk.
Very good. If somebody were to come here and just want to hop on a Panga to Las Animas or something like that, what does it cost?
Well, in the water taxi, they have the price is 90 pesos one way, 90 pesos back. So it's 180 pesos per person, round trip. I hear about the water taxi guys. They're gonna change the price soon. Maybe the next month it's gonna be 10 pesos more. Maybe 100 pesos one way, 100 pesos back.
Okay.
200.
That makes sense. You got you got the price of gas going up. So they got to cover that, right?
Yeah. Right.
Do they? Is that a colectivo? Or is there a lot of people on the boat?
Yes, it's a colectivo. They leave in every hour. They start 9 morning until 6 p.m. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Let's come back to Boca. In Boca de Tomatlan, they tried to build a hydroelectric dam. We've been following it, so my listeners all know what's going on there. What is the current situation right now as it stands?
Okay. Interesting. So, we are fighting during 8 months already about to not build the hydroelectric on the river Los Horcones and Boca de Tomatlan. Now the government in Puerto Vallarta, the municipal government, they close for temporarily because they don't show the license. They need a license. So they used to have a license from other municipality. But we discovered they was building another municipality. So now the Puerto Vallarta is in charge to cancel that project because they don't have license about the Puerto Vallarta municipality. Yeah.
All right. So right now it's stopped, and they need to get licensed. Now they did apply, didn't they?
Yeah, they try, but usually around 500 people. The last 2 months we blocked the highway during 8 hours. So the mayor was here on the highway, and they tried to convince him to us to open the highway because we was blocking maybe 300 cars on the highway.
Yeah, all right. Way to go.
Yeah, so we had pressure to the government because we don't want the hydroelectric because they're gonna have a lot of damage on the river, and the river is amazing, it's beautiful, it's natural, a lot of animals living in that area on the river. We have macaws, we have wild pigs, we have jaguar and that area. So if they build the hydro, they're gonna scare all the animals. They're gonna go on because they don't wanna hear sounds like or contamination, pollution, whatever. So that's because we don't want the hydro.
So, right now, it sounds to me like the municipality in Puerto Vallarta is on your side, yes?
Yes, we think that, and I hope.
We don't know, right?
We don't know yet. We don't know the truth, but we hope, we want that. But money is money, and in Mexico we have a big problem in all Mexico, even in Puerto Vallarta, about the corruption. So when you show money, they open the doors for everything, So
Right, they forget about ecology and they think about their bank account.
yeah, that's right.
Wow. Mario, thanks for filling us in on that. We'll keep an eye on that, and if there's any changes, let me know so I can tell my listeners, okay?
Perfect. Yeah, I'll let you know if some changes are. But for the moment, I think we're okay. We are winning right now because we have hundreds or maybe thousands of people who don't want the hydro. So they come with us. They try to talk, and we have their help because now we have many people knows about the problem. So they are there with us.
Yeah. So, they kind of have to be because there's when you say many thousands, there are many thousands of people that are with you and with the people of Boca de Tomatlan.
We have a page, change.org, about the Boca de Tomatlan River. You can sign over there, and it's very important for us. We have 150,000 signs over there. I saw maybe couple days ago, and it's counting. Maybe we're gonna have more and more and more every day. Thank you.
Yeah, you are going to have more and more every day, and I will have the change.org link in the show notes as well, and I'm going to have Mario's picture. I'm going to have a picture of his cool boat, and he gave me his business card, so I'm going to take pictures of both front and back side. So if you're going to be looking for those, you know what to do. You go to www.puertovallartacravelshow.com and check it out in this particular blog post, and then you will know, and you will see him. And then when you come to the beach, you can pick him out. When you get here, you go, look, there's Mario and his Super Mario boat. Have I forgotten anything? You want to add anything at all as long as we're talking?
Well, I invite to come to Puerto Vallarta, and we are amazing people to give you a nice service. We call it the friendship city or friendly city in the world. So we are ready to have clients from all over Canada, America, Alaska, Europe, whatever. We are ready for the high season.
Very good. We're ready for you too, Mario. All right. Hey, thank you so much for sitting down with me and speaking English with me, so that my listeners. Your English is great, by the way. You lied when you said your English wasn't good. Your English is great. So, if you want yourself a tour guide who can speak English, who can take you to some wonderful beaches and take you in a really cool little boat with Mario in front and Mario in back, this is your man. So, once again, Mario, thank you so much for talking with me today. And, hey, we'll see you when the high season comes.
Perfect. Welcome, everyone.
All right. Now, thank you so much, Mario. That was great. Now, Jimmy tells me that, unfortunately, Mario and his Panga are out of the water right now because, well, as I read earlier, the state will not allow him to take passengers out at the moment. So he's kind of in a bind, And so if you have any plans, if you have any plans at all to come to Paradise in the near future, now I'm sure that the regulations will be eased as time goes by. I'm guessing within the next week or two, or maybe even the next 30 days, he's going to be able to take tourists out again. So I think this might be a great way for you if you are thinking about ways to stay away from big crowds, to kind of isolate when you are in Paradise next time, to spend the day with Mario and go out on his Panga and get out in the outdoors, do some fishing, do some snorkeling if you like. He'll take you to some great deserted beaches. He knows them all, and or to any of the great great little towns up and down the bay. And so I have Mario's information, all of that stuff in the show notes, and make sure you check him out. If you are thinking about going down there, you might want to reserve a ride with him in advance. Maybe help him out by giving him a deposit so he can hold the spot. That's not a bad idea, and I guarantee that he'll take great care of you, and you will not be disappointed. All right. So that should do it. Yep, that should do it for this week. Stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with travel tips, great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember that this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and your suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, well, please reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending us your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him, right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and his on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you would do anyway. In fact, you got to get there and start making your purchases right now. Let's do it fast. Anyway, do it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks for being our guide. It costs no more than if you're going to use someone else. So do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Remember, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR's got his maps, his DIY tours, his revitalized happy hour board, and more. I have links to all of those in the show notes. And once again, if you like this podcast, well, please take the time and subscribe. And give me a good review on iTunes, if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with each episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, you really need to go there. Have a look. I've got links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures and more, right there. Blog posts and the show notes for each episode of the show. So check them out if you haven't already. All right. All right. Thank you, Trini Penrod over at El Novelito. I have contact information for her right there in the show notes. Make some time next time you're in Puerto Vallarta and go on down to El Novelito and help them out. And thank you, Mario Cesar Morga, Super Mario. Thanks for telling us all about what you do. And we look forward to seeing you in Boca de Tomatlan. Spend a whole day with Mario. Make your reservations now. Get all ready for your next trip to Paradise. I have all of his contact information in the show notes, as I said before, so don't forget. Make sure also donate to the Vallarta Food Bank, all right? Okay, and thanks to everybody for listening all the way through this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for you to slow down, be kind, and live Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
De Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. perdernos por la playa. Me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, brillas Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta. Noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.